Hey everybody, Brad here. Just wanted to let you know that this is a video that features Scott Kreamer, executive producer and showrunner over at Jurassic World Chaos Theory. And this video is going to contain a whole lot of spoilers. The entire thing. We spoil everything from start to finish in season 4, the final season of Chaos Theory. So if you have not seen that, please go over to Netflix, watch all 9 episodes, and then come back and watch this video. I don't care. You can hit pause. You can come back later. It doesn't bother me. Come back once you've watched all of the episodes and then go ahead and listen to our full spoiler conversation with Scott Kreamer. He reveals a whole lot of fun information about making this season, some behind the scenes stuff. So please come back once you've seen all 9 episodes over on Netflix. The final season is awesome. I really want you to enjoy it without being spoiled. But if you've seen the show, if you've seen all the episodes, please enjoy our conversation with the executive producer and showrunner of Jurassic World Chaos Theory, Scott Kreamer. I feel like between the two of us, one of us is usually not here, or if somebody's filling in for somebody else. Yeah. So I appreciate we're both here. We're both talking to you, Scott. I'm very excited about that because this is the final season, but I feel like a congratulations is in order for your turn acting this season.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be a team leader in the Jurassic franchise?
I actually was the voice of the first guy who got eaten by the Indominus back in Camp Cretaceous. The guy in the red shirt who was yelling up at the kids. So I felt like, it was really funny. So we ended up having to sort of rewrite the line at the last minute. And then I was in there doing the scratch for it. And it was like, all right, well, and the actor who did it was already in the episode, so I wasn't taking anybody's time. So it's like, we just decided, why not? I'll be team leader Matthias, named after Matt Doherty, our line producer. It was fun, and thanks. I'm sure there'll be a lot of awards buzz for it, and we'll just hope for the best.
I mean, we've got a named character there, so there's going to be a Jurassicpedia page, surely.
I noticed it instantly. I felt like Leonardo DiCaprio in that meme. I was pointing at my TV. I was like, "That's Scott." I knew it. I had to check the credits, and Netflix just wanted me to skip to the next thing. I'm like, "No. I want to watch the credits. I want to." And I confirmed. I'm like, "Yes, that was him." Okay, so that made me laugh. I like that. Good job.
Glad you enjoyed it.
So I will be honest, I didn't notice that straight away. So when Brad pointed it out, I was like, well, there's another reason to rewatch. But I kind of feel like for me, I've sort of been more in the mindset of this is it, right? Like this is the end of an era. So I guess from my perspective, Scott, I just wanted you to take a second to reflect on that. How does it feel to be at this end of an era and the end of the journey for the new Blah 6?
Yeah, it's a little surreal, and I feel great pride for what the team has been able to put forth, and when I reflect, it's like it seems a little wild that I got to be a part of this whole thing, and I really just reflect on the people who I got to work with along the way. And meet along the way. I mean, you guys included. Like, there's been a really, this has been a real collaborative effort in every sense of the word. I feel really lucky. I feel very grateful to have had this opportunity, which, people don't normally get this kind of opportunity, or to tell a story with the same characters over 90 episodes and, work on something that you really care about and love for 7 years. And it's my heart overflows with gratitude, and it's been an amazing ride.
That's honestly so lovely to hear. And I mean, you'll know me well enough at this point, Scott, to know exactly what's going to happen now. So I've asked you a lovely fluffy question,
Yeah.
and now we're going to go we're just going to go straight there, okay? So
Let's go.
in this season, we see that Ben gets a very nasty injury from a Stegosaurus phagomizer.
Yeah.
So I had to ask, like, did you come into this season knowing that you were going to put one of these characters in that kind of situation?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. When we started writing the final season, we didn't know if Ben was going to make it or not.
Okay.
Like it was, I mean, it was kind of right up till we had plans for either way, and a lot of conversations, a lot of flip-flopping, a lot of Bethany Armstrong Johnson and I talking at night going, should we really do this? And
yes,
what are the repercussions of that? So yeah, we always kind of knew where we were going, but we weren't necessarily sure if Ben was going to make it.
That's you're a psychic, because my next question was going to be, was there a draft where he didn't make it? But clearly you were going back and forth on that.
We really were. And, we did a lot of the writing virtually. So we had a virtual writer's room and a virtual whiteboard. And because our production team, just the best production team ever, but they were really like on pins and needles too. So we would see them start sneaking into our writer's room. So Bethany, being the devious person she is, made up a whole fake whiteboard where Ben did die. And just to get a reaction, because we didn't. And I'll be honest with you, as those scripts started coming out to the actors, much like we didn't tell the cast that Brooklyn was alive in season 1, Sean Gambrone was the only one who knew that Ben made it. So, and then that including, people from Universal and Netflix and people like, wait a minute, what's happening here? Are you really? And then also when Bethany, I'll just keep talking about Bethany because she deserves to be talked about. When she wrote the final script, the scene between the car driving up and Ben getting out, she took like 7 pages, like with just a few lines and a little and the people like, man, it was silent on our bullpen, just the entire floor as people were reading the script and everything. So it was really, it was kind of torturous for a lot of people, but I think satisfying. And I think I'm really happy that where we ended up having the thing come.
Yeah, I think it held the tension really well.
Good. That's what we were going for.
Yeah. Torture is the best word to describe that, I think, because that's how I felt. I was like tortured the whole time. My stomach's churning, and you pull off these like fake outs a bunch of times, honestly, with a few characters. Was it always Ben, or were there ever ideas of like somebody else? Because in my mind, I'm like, who could it be? And I thought, well, Kenji's being this real daredevil guy for the past few years, and I'm like, this maybe it's him. Maybe he's going to take that risk. But you went a different route, and I appreciated it. I thought it really like it had my stomach in knots that whole like for like 5 episodes or whatever it was. It was great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward because my wife can usually only watch a few episodes at a time because it just gets too tense for her. So I'm wondering how long it's going to take us to go through it. But yeah, Brooklyn, I think we had in our mind Ben, but yeah, there was definitely it could have been Kenji or Brooklyn as well. But yeah, this is where we ended with it. But there's once the season gets going into that good old fashioned survival story out amongst the dinosaurs, like it's a freight train.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed, I'm not even sure if it was on purpose or not, but when you watch Dominion, you get that. I think it's only maybe in the extended edition, but there's that flash into the past when the T-Rex is down for the count and basically about to die. Was there any parallel there between what you did with Ben and like his flashes into like seeing stars in the sky, feeling comfort and feeling safe I assumed he was like kind of back on Nublar in a lot of ways. Like, was there a parallel there between Rexy and Ben or any of that?
Boy, not that I'm aware of, but I wish I would love to sound smart and go, yes. That's what
we'll cut that there with just the yes, and that's the
right.
word.
Just flip it. It shows, Brad, just how smart you are when you can see into. Yeah, I don't know. We did like the idea of Ben flashing back to Nublar and taking the comfort there. Here's something that I haven't told anybody else, but I'll tell you guys. At the very end of that episode, when they come outside and see the T-Rex and the Therizinosaurus, we did originally, and we had this in for a long time, where he was going, instead of the T-Rex, he was going to see Toro and kind of do that. And I was really excited for that. But, Aaron Hammersley, the other EP, very smartly said, all these other flashbacks are very comforting. And Ben was running for his life from Toro when he wasn't trying. You know what I mean? So it was a hard one to give up because I really was excited about it. But in the end, I think Aaron was spot on. I think it wouldn't have quite fit with what we were setting up there. But that would have been cool.
I really appreciated those flashbacks and things. It made me think of one of my favorite movies, Signs, where like there's this like flashes in death of like things that are meaningful or matter. And, they flash back to like, oh, Gia, he says something about Gia. And then they remember the car. And it's like, oh, my God, that was the thing that saved us. Like that. So that was really cool.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough, obviously, for our entire crew. But Bethany and the writers really just did an outstanding job really landing this giant Jurassic plane after, 39 of this show and 90 altogether or something like that. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for people to see this season.
No, it's almost as if we planned this, because talking about planes, you've also got the Dilophosaurs, you've got the aftermath of Maisie and Beta. I'm quite curious, how did you guys navigate interconnectivity for this season? Because it felt like there were a lot more smaller touch points than we'd usually get, whereas normally you'd get like your one moment, like the Main Street sequence at the end of Count Cretaceous season 3, but here you kind of tap into a lot of different beats.
Well, I mean, we were so intertwined, and there's so many things going on, just with the power going out, and of course, like the dance of this is, it also has to read for people who haven't seen Dominion, and there are certain things people aren't going to quite get, but hopefully they're enough along for the ride that maybe they go back and watch Dominion and go, oh, that's what happened there. So yeah, it's the puzzle of these shows has always been, when we can interweave without breaking canon. And also, we talked about getting Ramsey in or Kayla and it just felt like, obviously we can't have our kids be where a camera was in Dominion, but you also don't want it to be like, well, wouldn't Ramsey have mentioned running into these kids, or something like that. So with the previous connection with Dr. Wu and Dodson sort of having his head in many different clouds, it felt like this felt like the way to go. But yeah, there was so much to play with, and figuring out the puzzle like we did in season 1 of Camp Cretaceous, is a challenge, but also kind of the fun of doing the show like this.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of moving parts to kind of slot together.
Definitely.
Do you guys get like a stopwatch and like time Dominion just to see or like how do you approach that? 'Cause I know you're probably looking at it from like your storytelling perspective. You want to tell your best story for your characters, but is there that like kind of pressure to get those minute to minute, moments together?
No, I don't want to say pressure to get it. I mean, it's like trust me. It's so funny. I was like going through old folders and I found my my minute by minute the route of the Indominus across Nublar when we were breaking season 1 of Camp Cretaceous. And so it's similar to that, whereas, yeah, we've got a list of this is the order that things come in and, you know, roughly where it happens or where they can see the Quetzalcoatlus chasing the plane or where the power goes out or when our kids lure those Dilophosaurus into the Hyperloop tunnel so they can go have some Dodgson for dinner. Yeah, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but we definitely know those guideposts where that we want to hit them, and and we get it as close as we can.
That makes a lot of sense. So when it comes to something like this as well, I think one of my favorite things is getting to see how you transition the animals from the film into the show. And obviously you've already seen me, Scott, raving about the Pyroraptor. But in this season, we get the Giganotosaurus, the Therizinosaurus, and the Quetzalcoatlus. And the Quetzalcoatlus, especially, that sequence just lives like rent-free in my brain with it attacking the research outpost. So how do you guys approach that? Do you like go into it with the mindset of finding a specific unique set piece for that animal, or what does that look like?
Well, first of all, we had to figure out how to build and rig these. They're the biggest, the Quetzalcoatlus especially, but also, these are the biggest things that our design and animation teams ever had to deal with in any of the shows. And, there was a lot of anxiousness about getting these things to move, and are they going to hold up? And like there was one early thing where we have to keep the Therizinosaurus in shadow for everything because we don't know. And then it's like, and then you look at them and it's like, oh man, of course they over-delivered because whether it's JP and the designers or Ryan and Dan and the animators, I'm just like, yeah, of course it works. It was sort of like with the Pyroraptor, or another way, like with Sayona Santos, where we see him in the movie and it's like, wow, I want to do that, So, when that first opening shot in our show, the Therizinosaurus coming out of the smoke, I must have watched that 50 times when we first got that footage back, and a lot of fine tuning went into that. So, yeah, we knew we wanted to. It's sort of like the Pyroraptor. The Quetzalcoatlus gets that one scene, but we wanted to do more. And we always liked it. Originally, I think the idea was we were going to have it land, and we just, sort of like, what was it, where the pteranodons are on the bridge? Was that 3 or?
Yeah, JP3 in the aviary.
Oh, they're so creepy the way they moved. And so we definitely liked that, and we wanted to do something like that. But and then when the whole idea came together with the research outposts, and it's like, yeah, awesome. And it's, we want to tell our story for our characters, but we also want to do the cool stuff that gets us really kind of into it. And so that's how we really wanted to spend some time, as well as the Giganotosaurus. We just wanted to spend time with these bigger dinosaurs than we've ever done on either show.
Yeah, Therizinosaurus is a all-timer for me. Like and especially in your show, like it looks, there's moments where it really looks like indistinguishable from the film. So it's like it coming out of the fire and the smoke and everything. It looks so good. Also, another shot that really stood out to me was the Atrociraptors with the brake lights and the eyeballs just glowing in the darkness. Incredible shots. But my number one question about dinosaurs that I have is does Smoothie's dad have a name? Because we got names for Bumpy and Smoothie. Does the dad have a name?
He does. I'm so glad you asked. We had it in the script and that it just didn't seem to fit. But Smoothie's dad's name is Blender.
Oh my god. I love it.
I'm so glad you asked so I could tell you. Yes, Smoothie's dad is Blender.
I love that. I love that. That's amazing. We're gonna ask those kind of questions.
Yeah,
right?
well, look, I'm glad you did. I've been dying to tell someone, but then you forget. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember in the script being described as a very handsome Ankylosaurus. And
Oh, he was.
yes, Blender is a man, so there you go.
I did find a question online from a good friend of the podcast, Mozamil. I don't even know if he knows I'm reading it, but I just saw it on Blue Sky, and I was like, you know what, I got to ask. He was wondering if there were any cut locations or species that were almost incorporated into the show.
We were right up against it. I wanted to get the Dimetrodons in, but we just didn't have didn't have the parameters to get into the caves. I mean, that whole ending part, we had a whole thing where they were driving the car through the Hyperloop, and then the ceiling caved in, and people just said, okay, wake up, we can't do that. So yeah, the Dimetrodons almost made it in because we were going to have the car, when they came at the end there, we were going to have the car driving through the Hyperloop, but we just weren't able to pull it off.
Oh, that's cool.
Technically. But so yeah, that's the only one I can think of. I finally got a Triceratops in there. I wish we could have done. I kicked myself a little bit going, I wish we could have done a little bit more because it took so long. But yeah, at the end of the day, like JP's known, or our director, JP Balmain, is known, I've wanted to get a Triceratops for so long. And he goes, hey, I think we can pull this off. So it's more of a cameo than a feature, but finally got it in.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I feel like you probably knew this was coming, Scott, but I think this is quite interesting in terms of what you guys do in this series, because obviously we're very much set alongside Jurassic World Dominion, and we knew that we were going to get this series before I think even Jurassic World Rebirth was announced.
Yeah.
But then there are a couple of moments here and there where I think you make dialogue choices that kind of hint towards the events of Rebirth. So I'm curious, did you guys know anything about Rebirth, or has that just lined up nicely that it kind of ties into it?
Tom, actually, the truth is we were done writing before I think we even knew about Rebirth.
Wow.
So we were in post-production when I finally got an early look at the script, when I think they had started shooting, or they were just about to start shooting. But yeah, that was sort of, we didn't even really know about it or know what we knew they were going to do something, but we didn't know what the story was. So yeah, I guess it was just fortuitous, the lines that you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool that it ended up lining up nicely.
Yeah. Well, you got to get a little lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you had said it in an article recently where you said you don't think you're going to be able to continue this, but you do have a story in mind for leading us into Rebirth. My question is, what do you need from us? Like, what do you need from the fans? Like, what do we need to make this happen?
Boy, I wish I knew who to talk to. But anyone, if you want to give someone at Netflix a call, or DreamWorks or whoever. I don't know. Like, again, this has just been an embarrassment of riches to get, as a writer and storyteller, to get to spend this much time with these characters and age them up and go on these amazing journeys. I don't want to be greedy, but if there's if you make some calls and let me know. And if there's anything I can do, I'll help you guys let me help you help me and help us. So
I'm going to start one of those Twitter accounts that's like day one of asking for season 3.
Perfect. But again, when I say an idea, I've got a kernel of an idea, in the way I had a kernel of an idea for Chaos Theory that then so many people came together and made this thing what it is. So, you wouldn't want to just do a show just to do a show. You would want to do, when I first pitched the ideas for Chaos Theory to people, it wasn't gone, oh, well, this is what we need to hit these quadrants. It was honestly, if I'm going to do more of these dinosaur shows with these kids, this is the show I'd want to do. And that was the thought that went into it. It wasn't like hitting a certain number or demographic or fulfilling, toy sales or whatever. It was, this would excite me to write and to see. And so, anything, if there were anything in the future, it would have to be the same thing. You gotta, it's gotta make sense, and it's gotta be something that you want to do. You want to tell that story.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, at this point, you've kind of alluded to it already. We've spent 90 episodes with the New Blast 6, which is a crazy amount of time, really.
Yeah.
And I think in that time, this show has very much got its own fan base that's formed in its own sort of subset of Jurassic fans. I say, like, the thing that really springs to mind to me is the care package that you guys did for antenna cosplays, and just the way that person has been so visible about limb difference and has been inspired by the show. And that's one example, but there's lots of people like that as well. So I think, kind of to close out this interview and really reflect on that, what would be your message, Scott, to those fans who have supported this show and also in many cases grown up with the animated Jurassic show that you and the team have put together?
Wow, I'm feeling really emotional for you just asking that. It means everything. And just the support that we've received and the appreciation, because, there was not too much was accidental on this show. And we took great care. As I've told you guys before, we don't get everything right, but it's not for lack of effort. And to, whether it's just telling stories and with characters that people can relate to, or shining a spotlight on underrepresented communities in media, it's, that's why you do this. You have this big old platform and this big old franchise, and you get to tell stories that mean something to people. So when you find out that, hey, guess what? It does mean something to people. And it's helped a lot of people get through tough times. We started airing Camp Cretaceous during lockdown. So it's everything. And so what do I say is I say thank you and all the best to all of you. And we see you. And I think that was really what we wanted to say with Mo-Thing, is that there's a lot of folks out there who don't feel seen, and we wanted to say that we do see you. And that's as a whole family of the people who make this show from top to bottom, and every which way. We were definitely a family, and we made this show for those people. So thanks, folks. Thanks for being with us the whole way. And like I said, it probably means the most of anything of being a part of this franchise, is being able to let folks know that we see them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Brad, do you want anything you want to come in with?
Yeah, I was gonna wrap it up with something, but that was just so beautiful. But yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, for all of that, like visualizing great relationships between people, and the mental health stuff that you dove into, and just for being a great person yourself, like on the internet, like somebody to follow and look up to. And I'm just honored and proud that we've been able to go on this journey of watching the shows early and interviewing you and Aaron and cast members, and it's just been special. And I think as Jurassic fans, we have something really great to look at for years to come. And yeah, just thank you from myself and the show and all the fans, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, I really appreciate that. And, like I said, just meeting you guys, and we've known each other a while now, and you and your followers and supporters have always kind of just felt like you were in our corner, and that is not lost on us as well. So thank you, and thanks for going on this ride with us.
It's been a lot of fun. I think I was saying to you, Brad, it feels quite surreal that like this dynamic, like us recording this show for the past 5 years has just been a thing, and it's nice that has been a period of time that I think the show has given us, as well as obviously giving everything to fans as well. It's been really nice to just get to experience that and have that as a moment in time that has existed, and it's there to be shared with everyone.
Yeah, well put. Yeah, so thanks for everything.
Well, whatever it is, whether it's series 3 or something else, I'm looking forward to following whatever you're gonna do and whatever the entire team, is gonna be doing. So really looking
I'm
forward to it.
drafting my first post now. It's gonna be scheduled to go out on a recurring basis.
Make it happen. Much appreciated, and like I said.